to be 100% correct a decade ago in business that today just simply isn't either true or relevant?
That I could take my time with the introduction of new technologies and innovative devices.
Mm-hmm. Bit of pressure on that at the moment from everywhere.
Absolutely. It always felt as though the wheels turned so slowly that you could even let a competitor or two put their toe in that water and watch what they were doing and be able to adopt whatever that might be and catch up quickly enough, because nothing moved that quickly in our world. That is not the case anymore. I think if you're not exploring and actively looking at innovations, whether it be technologies that we use in field, technologies that we attach to our fleet, emerging ways of working inside of our businesses and our back office functions, automation and AI, the differences they will make to all businesses, our industry sector or otherwise. I'm sure nobody has fully contemplated, other than those that are intimately involved in that world, how significant it will be. Think about the difference that autonomous vehicles will make to the world of traffic management. It will be quite significant. And that's, again, a transition of 20 or 30 years. I always like to halve that because everything seems to happen twice as quick as what everybody says that it's going to happen. Remember, of course, that there is a regulated environment with respect to vehicles on the road and those sorts of things, so government can slow all this shit down. But I still remember that Uber started operating in Australia and it was an illegal business. It was legal, but it is now mainstream, right? Because the people said we want it. That's right. So if there's this massive adoption of autonomous vehicles, and you're seeing it with the introduction of electric vehicles in some countries, that there's hardly a vehicle sold, and then suddenly, bang, everybody's buying them. If the same sort of thing happens with respect to the adoption of autonomous vehicles, which I believe will happen at the moment that their price point allows for people to adopt that technology without it being significantly more than what they're paying now, and access to use that technology on the road is actually there. And remember, the Australian government is neck deep in this legislation right now. Then there's every chance, yes, that time frame could halve. So if I go back to 2005, 2006, there was this underlying belief that innovation and being agile and quick to move on technologies, didn't appear to be as important or as urgent. Nowadays, I think you just got to pay attention to everything and understand what might happen if that technology was to explode inside of the industry that we're working in, and what the consequences of that be. And you need to be able to make those decisions reasonably quickly.
And how does that conversation go in the hallowed halls of the industry association, I guess, as far as innovation versus investment? There's a handful of innovative things that you can do that doesn't require that, but ultimately, well, most of the time, to innovate, you need to first invest. How's that rationalised?
is a difficult conversation because of the way that our systems of work occur inside of our industry compared to the way that our services are delivered in other parts of the world, like Europe. Yeah? Because there are absolutely technologies out there that are efficient and a lot safer, ultimately, than what we're doing, and quite innovative. The real problem that we have in Australia is the cost of that technology is prohibitive, because the way we deliver our service is different than the markets that those pieces of equipment were developed for. So, you have a look at, a favourite is the automatic cone deployment and pickup machine or truck. Now there's a bunch of, call them economical versions, cheaper versions of that, and they're not particularly efficient. There are also some high-end pieces of kit that are pretty good, but they're €500,000, which you can, I guess, amortise when you're looking at running 10 kilometres of cones on a autobahn. But in Australia, we're doing lots of small, 800 to 1.2 kilometres of cones. You can't have, even if it was 200,000 Australian dollars, you can't have a fleet full of 200,000 Australian dollar auto cone deployment machines to run around and run 400 metres for an Energex site. It doesn't make sense. They're still going to put them out from the back of a ute. So there are emerging technologies, there are emerging temporary barrier systems, there are emerging crash barrier systems that are fantastic. The problem we have in Australia is we're not developing any of those technologies here, so we have to leverage European or American technology, and by the time that translates down under, it's too expensive. And the conversation has taken place inside of different road authorities and different significant civil companies, and they struggle to reconcile. They'd love to have, there's an amazing barrier system, temporary barrier system, which just looks like a big steel girder. Yeah, behind a semi-trailer with a crash cushion on the back. Wonderful piece of kit to provide a temporary work zone that anybody working behind that would feel incredibly safe. But the cost of that kit with the semi-trailer, again, you're in excess of 500,000-600,000 Australian dollars versus how often are you going to use that. So at the moment, you drive a TMA up and they would do it with maybe a VMS board to provide some advance warning to the drivers in a temporary situation. Again, our road network only provides for certain freeways where you could actually use a piece of kit like that. You couldn't take it into the suburbs. Where in the US and in Europe, you've got many thousands of kilometres of road that are high speed, high volume, that these pieces of kit actually would get used. So whilst we have an extensive road network, it's not necessarily all high volume. But you go east-west or north-south in the US, all of those roads are heavily used. But once you get past Adelaide until you get to Perth, that section of road is, whilst it's high speed, it's not particularly high volume. It is a dilemma that there are better pieces of equipment that we could be using that are currently in play in different parts of the world, but generally at the moment cost prohibitive. And you know what, I think that's evidenced by there being some very large traffic management companies and very well resourced traffic management companies here in Australia that haven't adopted these innovative pieces of kit. They possibly could have had a crack at introducing them to our market, and they haven't, because I think they've acknowledged that the likelihood of adoption is low. So, if those market leaders and those with the means aren't grabbing them, I think that speaks volumes as well. What may change the paradigm, though, is our new pre-qual levels. So, at the moment, if those larger and better resource businesses bought a piece of kit like that, they're not guaranteed of everybody going out and getting one in 6 months after they've proved the technology. It might be that that piece of technology is really only going to be used on a high-speed, high-volume road, but there's only 4 companies that are pre-qualified now. Okay, so now the opportunity to get a return on the investment in that piece of kit is actually going to be there, because the security of work is going to be. So we might find that pre-qual system, certainly in the higher end, in that high-speed, high-volume environment, it might excite some investment in innovative products, because there is some surety and sustainability of that work, and you're not going to have to compete with smaller businesses that are really just agitating, but maybe don't have the capability or resources. So I'm kind of thinking that once that environment is unfolding, some of those better resourced, larger, capable businesses in that Cat 3 environment may actually choose to invest in some of this technology.
Hey everybody, thanks very much for enjoying the video today. I hope you got some value out of the conversation. Don't forget to like the video and share with your friends and colleagues. And if you haven't already subscribed, jump on and click the subscribe button below. Traffic Talk is Australia's only traffic management conversation happening online today. Have a great day.